Most people will never know what it feels like to be on stage with Ozzy Osbourne. A career in entertainment writing can provide such a thrill and more. Our guest today, Carl Arrington, has written entertainment articles featured in magazines across the country. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Great to be here, thanks.
Well, I know you have an interesting story right off the bat of how you got into writing, so if you could tell us that.
Yeah, well, just as all great fortunes start with a crime, nearly all great careers start with a lie. And mine started in Detroit when I was working for another little publishing company, and I wanted to go to an Elton John concert. And so I didn't have a ticket, it was too late, and so I called up the Detroit Free Press, Sunday magazine, and said, I have an interview with Elton John. Would you be interested? And they said, yes, we would, that's great. And then I called up the Detroit Free Press and said, and then I called up Elton John and said, I have an assignment from the Detroit Free Press. Would you be interested in doing it? Yes, we would. And so I made the lie come true and was able to go and meet Elton, and he was wearing pink glasses and a long mink coat with little 35 little dangling heads around at his ankles. So it was a very exciting beginning of a career.
And so there then became the launch pad. And you've since then, I mean, had many interviews with famous entertainers, Kiss being one of them.
Right.
What was that like, interviewing people like this all of a sudden on a regular basis?
Right. Well, I grew up in a little town in Utah, so I wasn't used to fame, but Kiss was particularly interesting because I was the first journalist that they allowed to see without their makeup.
Wow.
And when you did that, you saw why they were wearing the makeup. Yeah. That was the fantastic thing. So you got to, be kind of their best friend for the week. And for, 15 years, I went to, 20 concerts a week.
Wow.
And had a fantastic life, a great way to make a living.
Well, and now Gene Simmons has a show. You've probably seen the show.
Yes, I have.
In retrospect, looking back to the way they started to where he is now, is he the same kind of guy?
Yeah, he was annoying then, and he's annoying now, but in an entertaining way. Yeah, Gene is a great character. The first thing that he did is that he said, "Come right in, sit right down," and then he opened his loose leaves of naked groupies that he had taken with a Polaroid. So it was
of course
a lovely thing.
Well, what about working with these bands and celebrities? How would you describe that process? What was it like?
Well, I got to spend a lot of time with them. It's not quite that easily to have the access now, but when I was working at People magazine as an editor, we would always have long-form interviews, which means we would do at least 2 90-minute interviews, and they would have their pictures taken at home. And I would do a lot of research, and I would become thoroughly immersed in that personality. And for 1 week, I was their best friend.
Okay, and you say you're immersed. Did you live the rock and roll lifestyle?
Well, I don't know whether I lived the rock and roll lifestyle, but I was around it a lot, and flew on planes and had, exotic experiences, and, went to a Queen concert in the Astrodome in Houston and had a fabulous time at the after party, and was dancing all night and discovered I was dancing with a man.
I'm totally jealous that you got to go to a Queen behind the stage concert. What about when you're working for these magazines? Some of them, Circus, People,
right.
And others. What kind of pressure were you under to perform?
Well, I was under, I had to bring back the goods, and I had to be able to get access to the people and to tell the story. And there's a deadline pressure, but I had worked for daily newspapers, so I knew what that was like. I've been in a situation where I was typing, and the copy boy was taking each page out of the typewriter. That shows how old I am, a typewriter, and taking it to the composition room. So I was used to being able to perform under pressure.
Right, but the pressure to actually get the goods, like you say. You said you had long form interviews with these people. You found out some interesting things.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: have you ever regretted something being printed that you found out of somebody?
Right. There was an interview that I did with Carly Simon where she, divulged something about her marriage to James Taylor when they were having their child operated on, and James was a heroin addict and disappeared in the middle of this thing, and I didn't choose to put it in, but it was in the transcript, and in my copy I didn't write it in, but the editor put it in. And it was printed, and Carly fainted when she read the story, and supposedly it was sort of the straw that broke the camel's back for their marriage. And of course it broke my heart because I'm a huge fan of theirs.
Well, one last question. What is the most rewarding thing of your career, if you can in a nutshell for us?
Well, maybe interviewing Stevie Wonder. I'm a huge Stevie Wonder fan, and that was a thrill. And also being on stage with the Beach Boys when they were playing to 80,000 people in New York City. Dennis Wilson invited me on stage, and it was a great thrill.
Well, famous by proxy, isn't it great?
Yeah, it is great.
All right, well, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thanks a lot, Monty.